G20 के लोकाचार पर आधारित दुनिया में शांति की संस्कृति को बढ़ावा देने के लिए विज्ञान, धर्म और तत्वज्ञान की अनूठी तथा ऐतिहासिक 9वीं वैश्विक संसद वाराणसी के श्री काशी विश्वनाथ धाम कॉरिडोर में आयोजित की गई थी। सर्वश्रेष्ठ वैज्ञानिक और आध्यात्मिक ज्ञान तथा तत्वज्ञान को एक साथ लाते हुए शांति तथा सद्भावना की संस्कृति को बढ़ावा देने और एक शांति प्रिय समग्र वैश्विक समाज का विकास करने के तरीकों पर इन 3 दिवसीय संसद में चर्चा हुई। काशी में आने वाले तीर्थयात्रियों तथा भक्तों की आसान आवाजाही के लिए प्रधानमंत्री श्री नरेंद्र मोदी द्वारा बनाए गए काशी विश्वनाथ कॉरिडोर को विश्वधर्मी प्रोफेसर डॉक्टर विश्वनाथ कराट जी ने काशी विश्वनाथ ज्ञान कॉरिडोर का रूप दे दिया और यहीं पर संपन्न हुई विज्ञान, धर्म और तत्वज्ञान को समर्पित 9वीं वैश्विक नई दिल्ली के प्रख्यात पूर्व राजनीतिज्ञ डॉक्टर बसंत गुप्ता के विचारों ने उपस्थित समुदाय को मंत्रमुग्ध कर दिया।
Being summarized by Shri Krishna, he says, "Ishwar sarvbhutanam pradeshe arjun tishtati, Ramyan sarvbhutani yantrarudani maya." Now the key verse is, "Tamev sharanam gacch, sarva bhaven bharat, tat prasadan param shanti, sthanam prapsyasi shashvatam." Take refuge. Take shelter at the feet of that God, the Paramatma. You may call it Brahm, Paramatma, Bhagwan. It's only due to His grace that you can have Param Shanti, the enduring bliss, which is again, as we say, Satchidanand, one of the 3 attributes of the Supreme God. So bliss, once you attain God, the divinity, bliss is already there. The Param Shanti is just a step before you attain the bliss. So that's the idea that came to my mind. Now, theme of G20 this year is Vasudev Kutumbakam. But sometimes we make a mistake by not reading the whole sutra carefully. It says Udar Charita Nam Tu Vasudev Kutumbaka. That's for the noble people. It's not everybody. Everybody in the world does not subscribe to the concept of Vasudev Kutumbakam. That we have to know. As professional diplomats, as practitioners of international affairs, that it is not an easy journey. As Dr. Karan Singh said, this is a very tough journey. It's like walking on talwar ki dhar. It's not easy because you have to convince people who have a different philosophy. So it's only the noble-minded, the virtuous, the good people who believe in Vasudev Kutumbakam. Now, what is the basis? A lot has been said about the concept of Atma. I was posted in Algeria and I was talking to an Islamic scholar and he said the greatest contribution Bhagavad Gita has made is the concept of Atma. Now, Atma moves in three ways. I'll quickly touch upon 3 verses. First is Nanam Chindanti Shastrani, Nanam Dehati Pavaka, Na Chenam Kledyanti Apona Soshati Maruta. That weapons cannot cleave it, fire cannot burn it, water cannot moist it, and so on. Which means Atma, Azar, Amar, Nitya. These are the qualities, eternal. Now that is the experience within. I cannot go and tell you, oh, what's happening with your Atma? Because that is your own realization. That's why in Sanatan Dharma we talk about self-realization. Something you have to realize yourself. Gita talks about Swadharma. My own duties. I cannot go and tell the whole world, you have to do these duties. No, you have to do your own duties. So similarly with Atma, you have to understand that Atma is the basis of the Gita. There are a number of verses. Avinashi Tadvidya. Actually in chapter 2 verse 17, the first time, Atma is referred to as Tad. That. In the third person. But nobody can understand. It's so subtle. Subtle than all the 5 Mahabhutas, the elements. And nobody can see it. If you can't see it, the scientists will not accept it. That it exists. But it can be experienced. Somebody asks, does Ram exist? The answer is very simple. Yes, Ram existed. As long as love exists, Ram exists. Because Ramayana's basic philosophy is that of love, prem. So that is from the point of view of Atma. The second verse says that the Atma that's in me is the same in you. Yomam pashyati sarvatra, sarvam cha mai pashyati. Tasyaham na pranashyami sajme na pranashyati. Taken you to chapter 6, verse 30. And before that 29 is equally wonderful. It says, Sarvbhut sthitam atmanam sarvbhutanam chatmani. Kshate yog yuktatma sarvatra samdarshan. Person who is connected with his soul becomes samdarshi. The beautiful song, bhajan which used to say samdarshi hai naam tihar. God is samdarshi. God has equal vision. Like you look at the sun god. He throws light on everybody equally, whether the recipient is a saint or a crooked person. Gita ji, we are on the banks of the Gita. Gita's water is Ganga's water is for everybody. The holy river does not discriminate between the good and the bad. It's only humans we start this discrimination because we lose equal vision. Unless there is equal vision, you cannot have Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. And finally, when you take it to cosmic oneness, you say Ishwar Sarvbhutanam Rita Deshe Arjun Tishtati. Now I was talking to a small group and saying that Krishna says this, and a little girl, she got up and said, Guruji. So I was a bit taken aback because nobody had that time addressed me as Guruji. But he says, what is the difference between super consciousness and Krishna? Little girl, 9-10-year-old. I say one and the same thing. When you look at the Sagun form, it is Krishna. When you look at the Nirgun form, it is consciousness. Now there are two very important verses. One is a lot we hear about Ramcharitmanas and Ramayana. Tulsidas ji had said something which is extraordinary. Right in the Balkand, in the beginning, Tulsi says, Siya Ram mein sab jag jani, karom pranam jog jugtani. That I look at everybody as Sita and Ram. Wherever I look at the light of God, light of Sita and Ram. And the same thing Krishna has said roughly 1,000 years later in the Gita, where Krishna says, chapter 7, verse 19, Bahunam janma namante jnanmanam prasyate vasudev sarvamiti. So, Mahatma Sudurlabha. That it's only after several lives, jab tab meditation, dhyan, that a realized saint, a realized Jnani has this awareness that all that exists is God, nothing else. So we have taken from one's soul to everybody's soul to cosmic soul. Now when you say that the entire cosmos is pervaded by the soul, then where is the difference? Where is the fight? Now, on this philosophy, I briefly touched upon the concept of love, which is the basis. And in fact, one of my teachers who lives in Berkeley, he told me, Basant, the most important verse, remember, is from chapter 12, Bhakti Yoga, verse number 13. Adveshta sarvbhutanam, maitra karunevcha, nirmamo nirankare samduk sukha. Kshami, that you have to have no ill will, no animosity, no hatred towards fellow human beings. Must say it's very easy to love God, easy to love Guru, easy to love well-to-do people, Gyanis. But can we love the downtrodden? Can we love the sick, the poor? In fact, Gandhi famously said कि गरीब के लिए तो रोटी में ही राम है. In fact, when Buddha was teaching his great philosophy, the most of the audience comprised well-to-do business people, trading people, well-off people. The poor have no time. And today is the time when we combine everybody under one roof, under one forum, so that this equal vision comes true. Now finally, as Dr. Karan Singh was saying, that Atma is a divine spark. Now there is a beautiful verse in chapter 15, take you to chapter 15, verse 7, which says, Mamevansho jeev loke, jeev bhuta sanatane, manay shashtani indriyani prakriti stani karshyati. Krishna says that a spark of mine pervades all as the divine soul. Now, the last shloka that I'll refer to is the concept of universal welfare in the Gita, called Lok Sangrah. Now, when we talk about Karma Yoga, the philosophy of karma, there is a beautiful verse, chapter 3, verse 20, says, Karmanyevi sansiddhim asthita jankadaya Lok Sangram evapi sampashan kartum arasi. Gita's ideal Shri Ram Janak. And it says, through universal welfare, through detached action for public welfare, great souls, Gyanis, like Janak, were able to attain the stature that they did. With all these, thank you very much. I once again thank Karat sir. I used to call him a Karma Yogi, but I think he is a true saint in the real sense, the work he does, and I always look forward to coming and presenting some of my humble thoughts. Thank you.